just had the most fascinating meditation. So I thought I'll share this with you. Actually, from a science point of view, it's really interesting. So I was like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense if you put science and enlightenment or whatever together, right? But you visualize it and you're like, oh wow, this is like so putting pieces of a puzzle together. And it was so interesting. So I'm going to share with what I saw and then what, clarity came to you, right? Fascinating, really fascinating. So I sat in meditation, and I don't know about anybody, but if you want to see the truth of reality, you want to see, source, what really, without a veil, what existence, what you as source, what there really is, without the human perception and all this filter, your bias and your filters, right? Which is what the Buddha sought, or any person, wants to reach Buddhahood, wants to reach the, and this is what I've also, been after, right? So, but now you've got everyone else's perceptions, because you've got the Buddha's teaching and this one's teaching, and everyone's got their own, now we know we create our own reality. So you're thinking, everyone's got their own perception. How do you know if anyone else's truth or story or thing is actually real? So if you get it directly from source, you trust everyone, as you always trust. That's one thing I trust, is what comes from within. I trust source. You ask source directly, because you are source, to show you, minus the veil, minus ego perception, what really it is, what the truth is without the veil, right? So I sat. I'm just going to share what I experienced now. Fascinating. So I sat in meditation. Now, I don't know, who's ever doing this, but you get to different levels, and you get to some, initial level is when you're out of the mind, you get this heavy body, like your body becomes like a lead weight, and you're in this clear, it's more like a light, not clear light, it's more like a white light. That's your first stage, a white light, but it's absolute peace, absolute no thought, no mind, and you're like, it recharges your energy. So you're being recharged by the photons. You're in that stage. And then I've seen another one where you feel like the top of your head is flat and it just opens up, and there's just like a, like you see the Buddha head, the Buddha picture, the top of the head like opens up and the whole world is like spinning. So I've seen that where you've got the head open and like from here it's flat. So there's no space. It's like everything is, the whole universe is just there, right? So I've seen that, been in that state of mind or whatever it is, right? But then I got to another one now. So I'm sitting in meditation. This is interesting. And it felt like if you want to take from a physical side, right? I'm sitting in meditation and I got to a new level, which I haven't experienced before, of stillness, of clearness. It was really lovely. It was the most relaxed state I've experienced so far, of absolute peace and absolute. It's above the normal meditation state of peace and tranquility. So it was like, say you could imagine if you were in the brain here, somewhere in the center, smack in the center at the top here, you could feel like movement, right? Whatever that's relevant or not, doesn't matter. But all of a sudden, I'm in this state. It didn't last long, but it was really amazing. It was like, even the one level up, it was absolute quiet, absolute peace, absolute. Yeah, I can't explain it. It's above the normal absolute lovely peace, when you run around and you're happy and you're in absolute ecstasy, sort of, that bliss state. It was absolute calmness, absolute. Wow, it just was so lovely. It was just, and it was clear. It was very clear. Transparent clear, right? Anyway, so then I said to Source, okay, look, I don't want to imagine, because now you've got these perceptions, because you've read, the Buddha's teachings and these videos I share with people about these, reaching this enlightenment or reaching Buddhahood, reaching clear mind, or whatever they want to call it, right? So you've got this in your mind already, everyone else's stories and perception and all this clutter. So I wanted to release all of that, all programming that's coming from the outside, everyone else's stories, beliefs, release it, and asked, release all bias, all filters coming from the human perception, and just please show me the truth of me as source, as the actual source, the real true consciousness, without the veil. What truly, how do I say, I can't remember what I asked, but existence, or not any existence, reality that of what is, of really what is, right? Without the human filter veil nonsense. So this is what I experienced. This is very interesting, because I've also had a near death, so I can tell you what that one experienced. This is what I say. This is like, from a scientific point of view, I found this fascinating, actually. So I felt like I was being sucked back down the umbilical cord. Like I could feel this like energy. All of a sudden was like my solar plexus or whatever it is, belly button got energy started working, and I was sucked. So it felt like I was being pulled back down the cord, like umbilical cord, like a black hole. Like I was going like this, being sucked like a black hole. I was being sucked into a black hole, literally. All right. So I was going down, and then I came out, and then it was black. And I'm not worried, because I'm past that phase, of consciousness where all these other nonsense is going on. So it's all source, everything's you. There's nothing else. There's no out there. So nothing is going to jump out and bite you, kind of nonsense. So I got sucked into the black hole, and next minute I was in this absolute. And I thought, is that interesting? So what is source? Now this is interesting, because I've been through black holes. I've many, so it's fascinating now. And plus science. So here I am next minute, I think, is that it? Is source actually the black hole then? Is that energy? Is that what it is? That, that pure consciousness or whatever it is, anyway. And I'm not judging anything, because I asked him, besides everyone else's stories, how do I know, as a human, you don't remember. So ask source, and rather get it straight from, as I say, the horse's mouth, right? So next minute, I'm in this black hole. Feels like a black hole. I've been sucked into this. You could feel the energy pulling you in. I was sucked into a black hole, and I'm in this black hole. And I'm like, okay, is this what we are? Are we a black hole? Is this source, the actual source, of all? Because as we know now, this is interesting. Science tells us there's only energy, and I know this, and the energy is conscious. So, boing, I'm like in this black hole, and everything's black, and it's dark, and I'm thinking, okay, well, all right, and there we are. And I just relaxed and just see what will happen. The next minute, it clears. So you'd imagine a tornado, the eye of the storm, right? Right in the center. Next minute, everything's black, in this black hole, then it's like absolute transparent, and then you in it, where everything is, it's dark but not dark. It's dark but like completely transparent, very clear, like there's crystal clear. So you're in this space of quiet, absolute quietness, absolute stillness, but very clear. It's like you can imagine the universe, right? But in absolute clarity. So I was like, interesting. I'm not judging you, asking source, what you are, to show you what you truly are and everything is. But now also, I've had many meditations. I've listened to the Buddha's teachings and everything now. Plus, I follow Nassim Harim, that scientist, that quantum physicist, which is really interesting because he's very jacked up. And 2 days ago, this is really interesting, I saw a post, because I follow him on Facebook, where they showed a picture of the latest photograph of a black hole, which science has just captured, the latest photography, the latest camera, whatever. It was fascinating. So they just got a picture of a black hole with the best photography and technology they have now. At the center, it's pitch black, and around the black hole is this vortex of energy being, it's light, it's being pulled around like magnetic force. So the energy is going around like this magnetic, like you would imagine a tornado, right? Energy's being pulled around, eventually gets pulled into the center. So now I was thinking, that's fascinating, right? Tell you why, I had a ding-dong moment now. And I'm thinking, wow. Because if you put them all together, like now you've listened to what the Buddha says, and they explain what the Buddha saw, right? Now science is telling us everything is only energy. There is no holographic backing it up. It's frequency, vibration, everything's vibrating and at different speeds. And I'm like, okay. I just had a ding dong. I'm going to share this with you. This is my perception, and tell me. I just think it's amazing. I might have actually solved the mystery of the entire universe. Who knows? Little me, who knows? But this is interesting. So I find this absolutely mind blowing. The thought, contemplating it now. Then I'm thinking, all right, because I know what I've seen, right? And I thought, okay, it makes sense. It mimics. So I go through this umbilical cord, which you think is a birth. You're being sucked back. You go into, but we know if there's only energy, right? Now look at science. Science tells us, they look at our cells. The center of our cells, what is there? It's a black hole. There's nothing. It's empty because we don't have the technology to see multidimensional yet. So science tells you at the center of your cell, it's hollow. It's just a black, this is a black hole. Each cell, there we are. That's the conscious part. There's only energy, and all energy is conscious. We know now everything is conscious. All energy, everything, there's no matter. Everything in the universe and existence, the table, is vibrating at a different speed. I found this amazing. Now you've seen it, and now I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I've asked Source, right? It makes such sense. Look at the universe, as within, so without, micro, macro. Our little cells, at the center of our cells is a black hole. That's the consciousness. I just asked the universe what we are. Consciousness, source. Where's source? Source is the center of a black hole. The source, think about it. Everyone says source, right? Everything in the universe believes in source. Source, if it's a ET, a human, or whatever it is. What is source? The creator's source. The center of all energy. Where would you find that? A black hole. Amazing. So then I was like, oh my gosh, and why would I doubt? So I asked Source, and this is what I was shown, right? Now look at science. And I'm thinking, afterwards, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, look at our cells. At the center, a black hole. There's a conscious, that they're conscious, we know that. Now look at the macro. Science is now showing us, black hole, everything's being sucked, right? And now I'm trying to put things together. This is so interesting. Look at humanity. Look at planet Earth, where you think you're on planet Earth, right? Look how far away it is from the center of the black hole. And look at the dimension. So why were you in such a low frequency and vibration and dimension? You were so low. Why you felt even so a lower, as you say, if you want to put it in consciousness. If you believe you're a human, this is a planet. Okay, humans are on a very dark, on a planet with a very low consciousness, very low vibration, lower dimension. If you want to, on the spiritual path, where is it in relation to the black hole, to the center of the universe? Look at Earth, right at the back of the. Right at the edge of the universe, right? Like in the middle of nowhere, like right over there is planet Earth. Think about it. If source is the black hole of all, where everything's only energy anyway, right? This is one. Source is a massive black hole, because energy is conscious. Now, where have you got a mass of energy? A black hole. So the energy is massed in this in a black hole. That is the creation of all. That it's a mass of energy which is conscious. So it's a mass of consciousness in the center of a black hole. Oh my hell. That's what we are. We just don't perceive it. So I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so then I'm trying to figure out why we as a human perceive, where's the veil? You have to talk about the veil, right? So as I said, I got sucked, felt like going down through my umbilical cord, got sucked out in this thing into a black hole, then poof, in the middle, it was like, the middle of a tornado. It's perfectly calm and still and clear. This is what I experienced. So all of a sudden I get to this absolute stillness and clarity of all of this as a universe. Like this is universe and it's absolutely everything. That's source. So the conscious part is the center of a black hole, the absolute center, the eye of the storm, which is perfect stillness, perfect clarity, perfect everything. But what do we, as the Buddhists say, right? They say nothing is no actual existence, no energy. Everything is moving like this, and it just randomly pops up like they say, a holographic universe, whatever, right? So energy is moving, it's waves of energy, and it's constantly moving, and the things just appear. This is what the highest Buddhas have achievement can tell you from their third eye. So there's no such thing as solid matter. If you quieten the mind, it becomes quiet, everything's still, and there's just like a random dance of things just manifesting, or so-called holographic things appearing, right? Now think about it from a science point of view. Now I'm putting it all together and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, here's a black hole. The latest picture Nassim Harim shared of the black hole that the science has come up with, NASA, whatever camera it was. This is so interesting. Shows this massive black hole. Around the black hole is now they've got better camera. It looks like light. It's magnetic force. So the energy is light. It's light. It's moving around the black hole. Humans you, as believing you're a human, what are you experiencing? A very low vibration, okay, da da da. You feel like you're on a lower density consciousness vibration dimension, right? You are the furthest. Look at it from a scientific or a macro scale, planet. Here's little Earth, the furthest away, like the edge of the universe. So you are, because the black hole, the closer you get towards the center of the black hole, the faster you're going to spin. Your frequency and vibration is speeding up. Why? Because you're getting closer and closer to the black hole, to source. So the closer the energy, you, as you believe you are a being, whatever it is, your consciousness, to the black hole, the faster you're going to spin. Your vibration is picking up because you're getting closer and closer to the 0 point, to the black hole, which is source, which is the consciousness of all the universe. And I've actually been through some other galaxies pop out. So even there, as I say, it's creation. Other galaxies, other universes, you can go through a black hole, or it looks like a wormhole, whatever, and you pop out into other galaxies, whatever. That's just on the conscious side. But if you now take consciousness, spirituality, meditation, whatever, third eye thing, and match it with science, it's like bingo. I was like, oh my gosh, it makes sense. The source of all energy. So the further anything is away from the black hole, from source, the slower it's going to vibrate, because you're going to be speeding. Think about it. The closer you are to the thing, you're going to be pulled, suction, faster, 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 like it whirlpool. As you get closer to the center of the whirlpool, you're going to be going really fast. But as you get further out, further away from source, or the black hole, you are spinning slower and slower and slower. The universe is a mirror of this. The planet around the sun. We just didn't, but it only clicked on me now, and I've listened to the Buddhist teachings and what they tell you, what it looks like, right? And now you're experiencing, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. Science is also telling us there's only energy. Buddhists say everything appears as a holographic thing, yes. But you know what I saw? So when I asked about the veil, right, I said, okay, well then, I said, just remove the veil. I want to know what it's like without the veil, right? Because this is a human perception. We have a veil, so we can only perceive things like we do as this Maya, solid humans, this and that, to be a body and all that rubbish, right? You don't perceive what you can through the third eye. A very different perception of you can go through all of it. Everything's connected. That makes sense as well. Science will back it up. So photons, all the energy is connected. But this explains the dimension. What you think are dimensions, it's just that you're further away from the black hole. You're further away from the center of source, the black hole. So you're going to be spinning slower and slower. You're going much slower density. You're going to have much more density. But as we're getting closer to source, we're going to speed up. So what you perceive as being a life, a human, a body, the veil is a wall of energy. So when I asked, okay, so what's this veil? Let me see without the veil. So if you pop out the black hole, which makes sense, look at the picture they showed of the black hole now. So it makes sense what I experienced. So I got sucked through my umbilical cord. It felt like I was being sucked into a black hole. So you think you're being born, you're coming through an umbilical cord, whatever. And when you leave the body, this is what you experience. So you get sucked to this. It feels like I could feel it going through my umbilical. The energy was pulling from my umbilical cord. It felt like it. Poof, and I popped into the black hole. Blah blah blah. Now when you come out, guess what? You feel like you're going this other way. You're getting pushed. So you'll be pushed out of the black hole, and you get on the outside of the black hole, which looks like light. So your experience, and that's why they light and dark nonsense, right? So now if you get ejected from the center of the black hole, and that also makes sense why they say source is negative, positive energy, and it cancels us out. Source is neutral. It's the balance point. What's the center of the black hole? The negative, positive energy centered itself out, and you've got this perfect stillness. You experience it as negative, positive, whatever it is. There we are. Everything makes sense. It tallies up with the spirituality, with the third eye things, with what the Buddhists say, with what science says. It's fascinating. So I'm thinking, wow, this is so profound. Profound. So I popped out, and what the veil was a wall of energy. So it's not something solid. So what was in front of me was like, say I took a shield, literally, and it was just energy. So this is what you're perceiving, what you think is the veil. You can't see through it. There was this thick wall of, and it was energy, powerful. It was like, I don't know what it was. It was like an energy wall that was sitting in front of me. So when the veil's there, poof, there's this wall of energy like this, and it was light, like you would perceive reality, right? It was light. It looked lighter. It was vibrant. It was murky, but it wasn't as clear as well. So you've got this murky, it's not transparent anymore, and it's light. What do you think reality is? As you go up, you notice in consciousness, as in frequency vibration, your vision becomes much clearer. In your meditation, much lighter. Your perception, you get brighter. Why? Because you're moving further to the center again. We call clarity. Well, you're further away. Can't explain it. So the veil is a wall of energy. If you look at the black hole, science, the pictures of it now, the black hole is dark, the center strong, and then around the outside is light. Energy is moving around. What do the Buddhists say? Things that just generally say, what you're perceiving, you are just moving around in a ball of energy like this in light. Like a vortex, you're going around and round and round. So it is moving, and the things are moving, you're perceiving them as beings, as whatever. This is probably what the Maya is. They pop up as ETs, as planets, because you've got this. So when you get sucked back into source, into the unified consciousness, the one, the center of the black hole, absolute clarity, stillness, peace. Ha! Bingo! I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just solved the mystery of the universe, which there's every Buddha, every scientist, anybody and everybody is looking for. But if you look at it from that, it makes absolute sense. I'm like, wow. Why would I question what I was shown? Why would I question when I asked Source? Why would I question what I've been given? No reason to. Absolute no reason to. Never. I only trust what comes from within. I ask Source what I get. Wow. Interesting. So naturally, and another thing which I can verify from the spiritual side, I remember asking Source, why do we do this reincarnation nonsense, right? Because you're in the Maya, it's not fun. And as the Source says, what else are you going to do? We're eternal. There's nothing. It's just quiet. You're just going to, that's it. What else are you going to do? So you create, imagine dreams, like daydreaming. You're going to daydream. What are you going to be doing? There's only you. As Source, you are one consciousness. There's no others. It's very lonely and boring. Yeah, is it? Okay, well, there we are. Well, there's a black hole then somewhere in the universe. That's it. And I think there's one for each galaxy or universe. There's smaller ones. So the smaller ones, because I've been through some of them, in this Maya game where you're playing human, if you go through some of the smaller ones, where you want to call them wormholes, black holes, they pop you out into other universes or galaxies. But their Source would be the center, because all beings believe in Source, no matter they're human or not. And all we know is energy anyway. So there must be a central one, a central source for all of it, all those different galaxies, and yeah, bloody fascinating, yeah. So for ours, it would be, I suppose, the closest our black hole, which apparently we're moving closer to. It's going to eat up our Milky Way, and I wonder why we were. But for me, it was like, wow, that makes sense from an esoteric point of view. You are further from it, so even the planet is, so you're going to be going slower. So you're in a dark, you feel like it's denser because you're vibrating and you're moving much slower. As you get closer to the source or black hole, the center of the galaxy or universe, you're going to be picking up your speed. And the veil would be experienced as a light, because as you get shoved out, because same thing, you won't stay in the center. So as you get moved out again, slowly out, you pop out of the black hole, your consciousness, source, whatever, you pop out of source. That's the veil you experience. You're out of that and it's going very fast, and it comes out of, it looks like light, murky. Anyway, I'm just telling you what I experienced. Fascinating, amazing, really interesting. Really strange. So I wonder what that umbilical cord, because it represents something. It feels like, yeah, and I could feel it from an umbilical cord. So you would experience as being born, then maybe this, you'd feel like you're being pulled out. You sucked in, and then when you're pushed out again, you feel like you're dropping back to earth, because you'd be like, poof, you'd be shot out of the center of the black hole, poof, into the Maya, which is that part that's going around in light. Anyway, and naturally you would go, as they say, time is a circle. And listen to them carefully. They reveal it. Time's a circle. Why? If time's a circle, put the esoterics, the third eye, and science together. Why would it be? You get sucked into the center, the 0 point, no time, no all stillness, and then you'll start working your way back out again. You get pushed out again, and as you get pushed out, guess what? Time is a circle, because you're going to be going really fast. So you're at if you want to call the highest dimensions, highest level of consciousness, whatever, you're going to experience the highest beings, whatever, in the veil, right? Because you're the closest to source. And then as you start getting pushed further and further, vibrating as a circle, time's a circle, you're going now further out, away, slower, slower. You're going to go back down to the lowest frequency and vibration and the furthest planet from the universe. And then there we are. Time's a circle. And then guess what? You go back to the center and it starts all over again. And this is exactly what teachings tell you. They've been hinting to you, time's a circle. Things perpetually moving. They appear in front of you. And like, yeah, they do. Anyway, there we are. This is just something that came to me now. This is what I put together. You're welcome. For me, I just find it absolutely fascinating, from doing the meditation, from listening to them, from asking, from experiencing all these things yourself, following the science now as well. Not that I'm a scientist at all. Maybe it helps I don't have this. It does make total sense. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, oh my gosh, bingo. I hit the jackpot. I just thought, oh my gosh, I feel like I hit the jackpot now. I figured out what creation is, what all is, what source is. Everything's only energy and consciousness. The energy is conscious, right? So it would be the source of all energy, the center, the strong, which would be the eye of the storm, the pull. It's got the most power, pulling all the energy, and it's held by this in the whirlpool. We are at the edge of the whirlpool. That's why we were going so slowly, and everything seems a bit like, wow, yeah, very slow. Anyway, there we are. Fascinating. I'd love to have a chat with old Nassim Harim about this. This is one to share, because a scientist, then you can sort of, it's like it'll be like sometimes you listen to someone and it's like, oh my gosh, that's it. You just see that's that little thing, when you get that aha moment. Yeah, I had an aha moment. But this might help science then, and also because now you can marry them together. You're marrying now, this really does, it marries science, consciousness, and spirituality, because they all actually fit into it. It makes sense at all now. It makes sense. Wow. I'm so happy. Fascinating. And it also makes sense what I was told. And they'll tell you, you'll keep reincarnating, because it's not a choice. This is how it works. This is how perpetual energy is in perpetual motion. This is why they keep telling you nothing. Everything moves, everything changes. Yes, it does. Esoterics will tell you everything moves and changes. Why? Because it's going in a circle. The black hole. You're going to keep moving, and you'll move to the furthest part, and then you're going to coming back. You'll be pulled back to source, to the center. You'll be there for a while, and then you'll be set. That's why people have separation, and you'll get pushed. You'll slowly start vibrating away and away and away from the black hole source. Bloody awesome. Oh, did you? Yes, me too. I know. So I'm saying, it's like, if you have experienced this, it makes absolute sense. And then you listen to science, and you listen to what they say, you listen to what the Buddhists say, the third eye of the dimensions, and it's like, aha. And you experience that energy. It's exactly. This is why we do, because at the center it is so peaceful and so calm. It's so still. like the eye of a hurricane. It's absolute stillness and clear as anything. This murky shit is the veil, looks like, and it does. It's strange. Through my third eye, it looked like a wall of energy, but it was light. Bloody awesome. Anyway, I thought I'll share that with you. It was a very interesting meditation, you know. And it is good because if you ask, everybody, now we create. So I was like, okay, let me, who knows what they perceive or their perception, and they didn't have that knowledge back then of the science either, in 2000, whatever years ago, or they had higher consciousness, but yeah. So, there we are. Anyway, that's a conclusion that this is what my consciousness put together. It was like, oh my gosh, bingo, bingo, bingo. When I finished it, when I finished the meditation, only afterwards I started talking about it, and the information, as I say, just flows through for you. It just comes, and you're like, you don't know where, as you know, it flows, you're channeling it really, just coming, and you're like, oh, holy shit, is this how it really, this is what it is. And even I was surprised myself, and I was like, oh my gosh. I just shared it with my friends on Facebook. I was like, oh, wow, I can't believe it. I think fascinating. Anyway, I'll share that with you. Some of you that have, oh, you're so welcome. This is what we're here for, to share, We're on a self-discovery journey out of the Maya. We're coming out of the dark, and now it makes sense. Oh, well, fascinating. As I say, everything's replicated. That's the atoms, your cells. What does it show you? The smallest particle duplicates the black hole, the biggest particle, which is source. Everyone calls it source. Everyone says it's energy, it's consciousness, it's this and that. There we are. Exactly what it is. We just not able to, it's the first time now I could actually put all the pieces together, from the Buddhist side, from the third eye, from the science, from the... So it feels like you're being born. That umbilical cord part. It's interesting. I literally, I could feel it, my stomach. Like it was pulling from here. I was being sucked into this black hole. But coming out of it again, maybe that's what they say, the splat. Poof, it must be quite a violent thing, to be shoved out, to be forced out the black hole as it's, doing its way out again. Anyway, love you guys. There we are. I'm going to have my tea now, but, before I forget things, it is absolutely fascinating. If you think about it and you see it, it absolutely makes sense. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like the bingo. Everything just fits perfectly. What they're telling you, what you're experiencing, what science is saying, the atom is saying, the consciousness is seeing and saying, and it's like, oh wow. Love it. All right, lovely people. Wow, fascinating. Such an intelligent, loving, and that makes sense because it is. We're all the same energy. And this is why you feel this absolute oneness, because all of that energy is one. It's just now being pushed, and it's at different distances away from source, from the black hole. And this is how you can so-called perceive throughout all time. And that's why they say time's a circle. Everything just makes sense. It is circling. It's circling around the black hole. It's slower. Time seems to go much slower. And so does what you would perceive as dimensions when you're furthest away from it. Bloody awesome. Wow. Mind blowing. Anyway. All right, people. Hope you enjoyed that. Fascinating. Bye.